Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. It's a long weekend, too. How exciting is that? I'm so excited to be here today and to talk about we, the Golden Goose, and why are we so huge? But let's look into the stats. Tell some of the secrets here. Oops. Sorry if you didn't hear that. I will tell you why. There we go. Get your little ears on there, Ruth, in your speaker so everybody can hear you. Okay, it's Golden Goose Day. Yes, it's a long weekend too. So let's delve into things right away. It's Buffini Day for my Buffiniites. Jimmy and I are doing Buffini. I thought Jimmy might be here today, but I don't hear him yet. Oh, there you are. There you are. Hi, so happy you're here today. There's so much going on. So much going on. So today we have 0.85 months of inventory. We put 147 listings in yesterday. We put 108 under contract. We're selling 108 homes a day. We're 226 ahead of last February, 226 sales, and 324 sales ahead of last year to date. Oh, so much. Now, Jimmy, we're going to talk about Zillow, about Showtime. We're going to talk about why we are the Golden Goose. So I put some numbers up here on the board for everybody. Okay, if we do 5.5 million sales a year, which is how many homes the realtors sell every year, and the average, let's just dumb it down a little bit to 250,000 average price, and let's do the commission at 5%. So every sale is worth 12,500 in commissions. If you take every sale, 12,500 in commissions times 5.5 million, you get $68,750,000,000. That is why we are the Golden Goose, and that's what Zillow's after. They want their piece of the pie. And Kane and I have been saying this in our social media classes for 3 years, over 3 years probably, when we were just still in the conference room before we got bigger. And that is what everybody needs to understand. This is a huge play. And Jimmy, you weren't here yesterday, so and for anybody else that wasn't, I'm gonna review this with everybody. So let's see if I can. It worked. Okay. So Jimmy, they came out with fourth quarter earnings of per house, they're making $19,000. So if you round that up to 20,000 profit per home, okay, and they did 68,000 homes, all right, that would only be 1.25% of the market. That's all it would be. And if that's all it is, right, they're going to make their 1.375 billion that they're currently making on the Zillow.com site right now, with realtors contributing 70% of that 1.375 billion profit in advertising dollars because they advertise on Zillow. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if they wanted 5% of the market, that would be 275,000 homes sold. And several years ago, Richard Barton, CEO of Zillow, did say that they were looking to do 5% of the market. And that's $5.5 billion potential for their company. Why wouldn't they do it? Mm-hmm. And so that's why they're going to take the Zestimate away from us. They're in 26 markets already. And they've got 3 established brokerages, like brick and mortar on the East Coast. I don't know how they're moving East Coast, West Coast, or how they're going to do it, but they're already in 26 markets. Now, how are they in 26 markets? Well, like for here, George Caprios, he was a Zillow affiliate. So Zillow was feeding him leads, and he was doing quite well. We had those numbers. I think in 2019, they were like number 1. In sales, you got Open Door. Let's see, I think I put those somewhere here. Let's see. Of course, you can't see it. Okay, so we've got Zillow here. We got New Door, OfferPad, Open Door, and Redfin, and that accounted last year to date, just January to February. Last year, 310 homes. This year, 240. Now, the reason is because Zillow's not doing the same business this year that they did last year, because I think they've got other things that they're doing. I think that they're taking those leads that they used to be giving George and doing something else with them. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know. I just don't know what they're doing, why it's lower this year. But I don't know if they plan on buying George. I don't know if they plan on just, I don't know what their play is going to be in the 26 markets where they have an established affiliation with 26 brokerages. But I do know that they have started their own brokerage in 3 states on the East Coast. I mean, and that is huge stuff. And then when they came out this week and bought Showing Time for $500 million, that just blew everybody away. And what do you think of that?
It just shows me that they have a lot of money, that they're looking for acquisition as a way to get bigger. It's a growth strategy. And when you can just buy somebody like that, you don't have to develop it. It's all done. It's like, I can buy some lumber or I can buy a house.
So I was trying to figure out why Showing Time would hurt us, because everybody said, oh my gosh, we don't want that to happen. So I found a clip that I'm going to play. Hopefully, you know how that goes. Let's see if I can't go to the right spot. I'm going to put myself down here for just a second, because I'm going to get to the right seconds where they start this. I think it's at 55. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this to 55, and we're going to listen to what these 2 people from Inman say, because they were very
and in the marketeer and how that ties into real estate. But first, racket number 1, Zillow by Showing Time. I think this is their biggest move yet, their biggest acquisition move. Even if it's not the biggest acquisition price-wise, I think it's the most impactful one that they've made to this point.
Well, for sure. I mean, they bought Dotloop, and there wasn't as many articles written about that. I mean, hello.
The company plans to continue to operate Showing Time as an open platform for all real estate agents, not just those who partner with Zillow. Before we get into it, what it means, agent reactions, Nicole, in our MLS, we've got a whole bunch of tools.
Yeah.
I could even actually bring it up if we wanted to here. The CTMLS, which I think, by the way, CTMLS, I've said this before, you guys do a great job. I have access to Mass, Rhode Island, Florida. You guys are doing a really good job. But of all the tools that we have, in your opinion, what's the most useful tool on the MLS?
Oh gosh, but I think it depends on what you're trying to use it for. I mean, I see where you're going here with Showing Time. No, because we've got the Matrix, obviously, which is the MLS, and obviously that. I mean, outside of the actual MLS, all these other tools that we have: Showing Time, HomeSnap, InfoSparks, Fast Stats. I've never even used this one. Emo Viewer, IMO Viewer. Emo? I don't know.
Emo. Remind, love Remind. Great data there. Supra. Transaction Desk, RPR, Realist, List Track. It goes on and on.
So
I'm
a huge Realist fan. I mean, I love looking at people's background.
Which one are you using more, and which one do you find more valuable, Realist or Showing Time?
Well, I think Realist obviously gives me a lot more information on a home, but Showtime certainly streamlines the process when I'm going out with buyers. I mean, you're putting in your requests, you're able to very easily form a tour for a day. All of your codes to get into properties are all in one spot. Again, you're getting email reminders of feedback, which is great. Again, it is a really great tool if you're a buyer's agent. Obviously, if you're a listing agent too, you can very easily go back and look at everybody's feedback. You can follow up with agents.
Out of the 20 tiles, is Showing Time in the top 2 with Realist?
Top 2, definitely in the top 2, for sure.
Most valuable to the agent.
Well, I absolutely. Yeah. I think, and again, not just the buyer's agent, certainly the listing agent too, because you have a place that everything is documented. It's all tracked. I mean, we send all of our clients their Showing Time information every single week.
We use it to report, to your point,
Absolutely.
the data to the sellers, like, oh my gosh, here's the feedback, here's how many showings. And it's all living in showing time.
Well,
and we're taking that information
That's
out.
the biggest thing, too, because if you have a seller that's like, you guys suck, and you could be like, well, we've actually had 80 showings. Right. It's all very much there. There's no discrepancy about what has come in and what hasn't.
And now all that data that we have, we actually put it in our listing presentation, and our listing coordinator, Jen, she uses this every single week to keep our sellers informed. Not the automatic email that can go out from showing time, but actually taking the data out, putting it into a specific email that's easy for them to digest. All that data is now owned by Zillow. They own all the data. $500 million, by the way, seems cheap.
So cheap.
Their earnings came out yesterday. Earnings report was yesterday. When this news, I'm so glad we waited a little bit later in the week this week to do Real Word. I would have been devastated
if we missed it.
Had we recorded.
Well, you know that we would have been here no matter what. You've been like, Nicole, you would have dragged my ass into this office.
We're doing 2 this week because this is such big news. $500 million is cheap. Earnings report came out yesterday. Q4 of 2020 was their most profitable. Everybody says Zillow isn't making money. They were profitable again in Q4, their most profitable quarter ever.
Yeah, yep.
Now, the profit is less than 10 times what this acquisition cost is. The reason their profit is so small is they keep buying up what no other broker owns.
Well, it sounds like I think 17. I think in that article it says that they've done 17 acquisitions.
Yeah.
So there are even ones that we don't even know are happening that they're doing too.
This is a big one. Now, agent reactions.
Oh.
There's been some tears. There's been some crying. There has definitely
tears
been,
and crying are the same thing, but yes, there's been a lot of There's been some complaining. There's been a lot of finger pointing. People are very angry at NAR.
There's 2 Inman articles we can refer to. The one about the acquisition, obviously, you can read through that and get the details. Now, whether we're going to talk about this more.
You have to.
We can't talk about this whole show.
I have still so many questions.
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
So they're saying it's going to be an open platform. We can start speculating on listen, and before I get to the agent reactions, one little thing, and we're going to talk about this more in the future. Here's the one thing and where people are scared of, right, is if you're in the Zillow Flex program like we are, we're a partner of Zillow, we're a growth partner, and we're getting live connect leads. Mm-hmm. Well, we schedule those showings.
Right.
Who's to say in the future now Zillow doesn't say, you know what, we're going to be better at actually setting the appointment. We're going to give you on the app the option to accept it. If you don't accept it, it goes to the next Uber driver to accept.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, that is now worth another 10% on top of the referral fee you're already paying us because we're doing more of the work.
It's so interesting, though, because I feel like there could potentially be a downside if Zillow is directly planning, scheduling these.
Why? What's the downside?
So I'm thinking
they have thousands of agents. Somebody's going to be available.
No, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm sure you could always find a buyer's agent. That I'm not worried about.
You can always get an Uber driver.
Because you have to have a buyer's agent going through this, right? I guess that where there may be a little bit of a downside, because again, not that agents would ever turn away a showing, because that would be in complete violation of their fiduciary responsibility to their seller. But if they're seeing a request coming through Zillow, I mean, are you then questioning who's bringing them, who's coming, especially if you're not necessarily usually at the showings, right? I feel like there's so many questions. Is that buyer then coming? Are they confirming with the buyer to give them access to the house? There's so many questions about all of that.
I think Zillow's still gonna. I mean, listen, and one of the brokers, things that they say, which is true. And is a big concern, even if you're a Zillow partner like we are, is that they're going to potentially turn the agent into a guide, not the expert in the local area. Mm-hmm. And if you're just a guide, then they're sending a guide over. And this is something that a lot of brokers are saying. But by the way, brokers, 15 years ago, you didn't do anything to actually compete with them to stop this from happening. But yeah, if they're just sending a guide over, then yeah, there's somebody guiding them through the home, a door opener, which is what I've been saying for how many years on this show, which is why you got to build your brand, right? I'm not even going to get into that whole thing, but you got to build your brand locally. If you're on Zillow, you got to use this to build your database so that you can direct market to them through your branding and your local advertising. That being said, yeah, I think there's going to be somebody going with the property, but if they're actually setting the showing, they become more valuable in that part of the transaction. They can charge more for that. So
I guess
there's
so
a legitimate concern there.
There's still so many. I still feel like there's
so many questions, so much speculation.
Yeah.
They're saying it's going to be open right now.
And like I talked to you about it a little bit last night too. I mean, Zillow in many states is already a broker, so they already have access to showing time. They can already. So,
but now they own it.
I know. So it's all very, very, very interesting.
So and I know on my IG when I posted the news yesterday, there was a agent that said, well, looks like we're going to have a lot of listing agents going back to setting up their own showings. Like, remember back in the day, like, somebody would call you and like you would schedule the showing. There was no showing time app to like keep it all organized. And I was like, oh yeah, really? In this market? And I really like the person that made the comment, but I'm like, really, in this market, when there's 12 showing requests in the first hour, you're going to sit there all day and schedule it. You're going to take your transaction coordinator, your listing coordinator away from their day-to-day activities to sit there on a new listing and schedule 12 to 24. You're talking to, there's nothing worse than scheduling with agents. Oh, no, I can't do it that. Oh, you can't do it that. Oh, you're walking your dog at that time? Really? Like, there is nothing worse.
Well, but even when you go through showing time, you get those phone calls too.
Oh,
hey, I have a showing at 4. Can you come at 4? I'm like, I requested for 10 a.m. Like, there's a reason I requested for the morning.
Inman put out another article, and this is a bunch of agents that have said
it was a big buzz.
All right, so you've got one agent saying you're going to see an exodus. Really? I mean, in this market, really, to that point, like, what else? What's your other option through your MLS to set up showings?
The thing here, though, is that everyone's talking about these exoduses, but like
they've never happened in the past.
Well, and I also have yet to see any agent actually unclicking that button where they don't want their listing on Zillow.
Good point.
I mean, hello, that's where you start. You start there. Like, and no agent is doing that because they know that it's a huge disservice to their seller.
I've got one agent from Naples who I like a lot, who commented on my Instagram, and he said, all these agents that have, funded Zillow over the years. No. Let's get something straightened out right now. And again, he goes by Red Hot Naples. I like him a lot. Let's get something straight right now. Agents didn't fund Zillow. The consumers were going to Zillow's app before the agents gave Zillow all their money to take some leads and go and work with those leads. Zillow did a better job than any broker, than any MLS, than any team, than any solo agent in the history of real estate at generating leads.
Right.
And the person that holds the leads, the company that has the leads, wins. All the brokers are like upset about Zillow. Why weren't they upset with the relocation companies who take 48%? Because they were in bed with the relo companies.
Right. Well, that's a whole nother topic.
To take 48%, this is more than what Zillow's taking right now.
For sure. Oh yeah. Well, but again, for $500 million, I mean, Realgy. Why didn't Realgy buy showing time?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so cheap.
It was clearly accessible. They clearly were okay with selling. They wanted to sell. I mean,
Realgy ain't got that kind of cash right now.
Well, not right now, but this business. Showing time's been around. What did they say? 22 years.
Another agent in Illinois was similar in her criticism of the Zillow showing time deal. Said to Inman that agents input a significant amount of data into showing time, and that she is concerned Zillow is now going to be able to harness that information. I also heard this.
I think it's all the data. Yeah.
On an Instagram comment as well, saying, "I am not selling my database to Zillow. I'm not selling my contacts to Zillow. I don't want to give all of my people, my emails and names over to Zillow." Newsflash, they already own them. 3 out of 4 of your contacts in your database have already signed up for a username on Zillow.
Right.
So Zillow, you've got those contacts in your database, and you maybe know and like and trust and whatever, a bunch of them in your community, but 75% of them have also signed up, the people that you know in your database, for a username on Zillow. And by the way, maybe they've got Redfin downloaded.
Or, you know, where
they have the data.
But if they didn't have the email before, every time you're asking them for a Zillow review, they have to put in their information, or you cannot post a Zillow review.
And so
they're
exactly.
collecting it.
All your past clients that have given you a Zillow review, they already have. That's a great point.
You have to put in. You cannot post a Zillow review unless you sign up.
So here's the thing. Zillow's already got the data of your clients.
We push Zillow reviews. Most people push
everybody.
you like.
I mean, it was a golden way to get come list me calls 3, 4, 5 years ago. They already have the data. They have all your clients. Everybody out there home shopping, 75% of people are going through a Zillow app and signing up. So there you go. 3 out of 4 people you know are using Zillow. They own the data. What does that mean? Everybody has the same access to the same people. You live in your community. You're the one that's local. Do a better job branding yourself to your local community. You don't have to market to 50 states unless you're an EXP agent and you're working on your downline. You don't have to market to every single community in this country. You've got to dominate your community if you're focused on sales. Focus on that. Build your brand.
Okay, Jimmy. So here's one other thing I said yesterday that is in the Inman article, that Zillow plans on taking all the Zestimate leads and giving them to their brokerage, of which will be comprised of real estate agents that will be their employees, not working on commission. So all the data they have, if they do a better job of connecting with that data than we do, they're going to win. And that's why you and I are teaching Buffini, and his tried and true methods cannot be overcome by Zillow if we use them, if we apply them. What do you think?
People don't buy a house from a company. They buy a house from an agent. And their loyalty to the agent is only as good as the agent. If the agent is not keeping in touch with them, if you're sending them something once a month saying, listen, I have the latest updates on the values of your home, they don't need to go to Zestimate. And if your communication with them says, I have the latest values of your home, including the Zestimate, if you can't beat them, you need to let them know. I have an iBuyer platform. If you want to just sell your house right now, I have an iBuyer platform I'm working with. So you have to let them know whatever they're going to get somewhere else, they can come to you and get everything. Mm-hmm. And if they'd rather deal with you, if you have everything, but if you don't have something, they'll find it somewhere else if that's what they're looking for. People are looking for a service. If you let them know, I have this service, this service, this service. When you're ready to go, I need to be your agent. Is it okay with you if I can keep in touch with you? Would I be your agent? If you were would you? Now, I'm not saying you can't go anywhere else for information, but you know what? Start with me, because let me bring you all the information I have and start with me. And that's the message we're going to have to start communicating. Start with me. I have this, 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 and this. Everything you're going to find. You can search online for a couple hours, or you can call me and let's get together.
Jimmy, you're right on. You're spot on. And when Zillow becomes a brokerage here, and all those people go to the Zestimates or go on Zillow to search for homes, and they're from California, Zillow calls those people. Mm-hmm. They get in touch with those people immediately. So, we have got to stay in touch with our communities, and if you own a home in a community, or even if you rent in that community, start farming your communities, because the biggest thing is that you have the knowledge of that community and those homes and the lifestyle in that community in Las Vegas.
Right. And Zillow cannot compete with that.
No.
A Zillow agent will not beat you, but a better agent at Zillow will beat you. A Zillow agent won't beat you, but a better agent at Zillow will beat you. If there's an agent at Zillow that's working it harder than you and doing a better job than you, then they're going to go to that person.
And these agents are going to be employees. They are going to be paid, an annual salary. So they are going to be given orders. What we can't do right now, Jimmy, as you know, as brokers with independent contractors, we cannot tell them what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. Or the IRS says, oh, that's not an independent contractor. That is an employee. So Zillow's coming out the gate with their agents licensed, but they're employees. So they can tell them what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. And the big key here is if I'm the employer and I'm saying, Jimmy, you got to do 50 calls a day or you don't have this job, guess what? I'm telling you what to do. And guess what? If you don't do it, you don't have a job.
I think a very strong independent contractor is going to beat an employee, but a strong employee is going to beat a weak independent contractor.
Yes.
So if you're a strong independent, I would rather have somebody that's working for themselves. I want to talk to the business owner, not the business worker.
Yes.
So we have an advantage if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a business owner. If you're not, they're going to beat you because, as you said, they're told, do this or get fired. That's a motivational speech.
It really is. I can't fire an independent contractor for not doing anything, or that means I've been telling them what to do, and then I'm liable to have to pay their taxes.
Right.
A lot of implications that are going on. And the thing that I think everybody needs to realize is they're going to take estimates away from us, and they're going to take those leads, and they already know that they can make $19,000, $20,000 a deal. And when they get in all of our markets, I mean, that's huge, Jimmy.
Well, isn't housevalues.com a piece of the agent formula direct mail or email campaign?
Which one?
What's
your homework? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We built our own platform for the value of a home. It's better than the other platforms out there, and it comes with agent formula.
That's all Zestimate is. It's a house valuation. We already have that tool.
Right.
So if the consumer knows we have a house valuation tool that is better than Zillow, based on Zillow's own algorithm, Zillow says they're off in this market by this. Yeah. Our house valuation is more accurate. We'll show you both. You tell us which one you think is better. But we need to be able to show them both. Zillow, even if they have 4% of the market, that means they don't have 96% of the market. 96% they don't have.
Well, look down there. I mean, if they just sold 923 homes in fourth quarter. Okay. In order for them to reach their goal, they're going to have to sell, let's see, what's 4 into that 80 home. Let's see, 800 home. Is that 800 or 8,000? 8,000 homes a quarter to meet what they want to do. Is that right? That's not even right. 275. Hold on. Divided by 4 is, 68,750 homes a quarter. That's their goal, to get them to have 5% of the market.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is. It is.
But they've turned a profit, though, for the first time in this new venture. And Kane and I have been telling everybody it's going to take them 3 years, and that it took them exactly 3 years, because at the fourth quarter of the third year they did it, and they figured it out, and they figured out that employees are the way to go, and they're bringing some of their things in-house. I'm sure they've got big plans for Showtime we don't even know about.
Well, employees is one way to go. If they're doing a better job with an employee than you're doing as an independent contractor, they're going to win. You have to outperform the employed person. And we can, because an employed person, when they go home, they go home. We don't go home. We leave our phones on. We talk to people afterwards. Now, a really good employee might take a few phone calls at home if it's a serious thing. So a really good employee is going to beat a really weak independent contractor. But a really good independent contractor is going to beat a really good employee. That's just my opinion.
And my opinion is that if we are not better brokers and we don't start training our agents and give them training like we're doing with Buffini, Jimmy.
I'm sorry,
but we have to be better brokers. And like you and I, we're training people on the Buffini system, and we're in front of people every week. And we're going to continue doing Buffini. We're going to continue training you all, because you know, and brokers are going to lose. If Zillow comes in here and says, I'm going to pay you this much, and you're not making that much because you're not doing what Jimmy's telling you or what I'm suggesting you do, then guess what? The brokers are going to lose too, because the agents are going to go work for Zillow. So there's a lot of moving parts here.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing we can count on is change. It's going to keep changing. Yes, that's the one thing we can count on. So, and it's going to take Zillow a while to figure it out. And that's why you have been talking ever since Zillow about branding and getting in front of your people. It's the same song. It's the same song, but you just have to do it better now. The competition is tougher.
Yep. Well, Jimmy, I guess I will see you at 1 o'clock. Is this week 4 or 5? I think it's week 5, isn't it already?
It's week 5, and I may be there at 10 after, but I'll be there close to 1.
Okay, sounds wonderful. I love everybody. Watch this again. Get these numbers in your head and get it to motivate you. Get the momentum going. Love everybody.
See-
Happy
see,
weekend. It's a long weekend.
Is it really Golden Goose Day?
It's Golden Goose Day.
It is. I thought you were kidding. Okay.
It's Golden Goose Day. We're the Golden Goose. We're making
Yeah, I got it.
We're making 68 billion. Okay.
I'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.